With me is the Technical Director of the Grenada Football Association. Good morning.
Morning to you, Chrissy. Yeah. Morning here.
This is Lester Smith. Morning, how are you doing?
Yeah, man, it's good to see you.
Welcome to the show.
I was wondering when football or any sport will get some form of, stay on this program.
Well, we've had football before, actually. We've had
on a regular basis too, because this is a sporting country.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We had Hurricane. The Hurricane team was here before. When they won the Wagati competition.
Yeah, I saw you out on the street.
Oh, yeah, doing little tricks. And
well, that was good.
I hope you brought your football to show us something.
Well, I mean, this is like dead hours of the morning, so
what?
Yeah, if you catch
at
me
least
like
it's
around
supposed to be,
the footballers up early, first thing in the morning.
Training and so.
You need some rest too. But it's good. It's good that you guys can find time for sport. To play a major role probably on the day break, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, this morning, Chrissy and I, in the intro show, we were talking about women's football, and I was asking Chrissy if she wouldn't mind being part of women's football. Of course, Chrissy saying no, she interested in cricket or whatever. I don't know, maybe you could change her mind.
Yeah, there's different aspects to women's football. That you can be a player, you can be an administrator, you can be a referee, and there's so many different opportunities out there for women here in Grenada in terms of football. I mean, being a FIFA referee in terms of women, apart from the pucks that you can gain, you get the international experience. You travel all over the world doing matches. You go to the FIFA Women's World Cup, and there's a lot of things you can achieve being a referee. Being an administrator, likewise, one day, Chrissy, you can be the president of the GFA as the first women's president. So football has a lot of opportunities, not only for male, but for female as well. And of course, being a player, you can ask for more. I mean, you look at people like Marta from Brazil and all the big international women stars. They are professionals. They are millionaires. So the sport can bring you a lot in terms of achievement. And
we hear that you're traveling to a major conference on women's football. What are the objectives?
Yeah, well, FIFA has really stamped out. Has given a lot to women football. In fact, the president of FIFA, Sepp Blatter, has said emphatically that the future of football is feminine, and they have done a lot. In fact, they're saying that from whatever we get from FIFA, which is called the FAP, the Financial Assistance Program, over 15% of it must be diverted to women's football. So the budget for women's football is a big one. It's well over $100,000 for this year, and the symposium that I'm going to attend has a lot to do with, what is happening in the individual countries in the Caribbean and in CONCACAF as to our women's program. How well are we using the funding? What are our plans for 2012? And of course, to look back at the World Cup, the last FIFA Women's World Cup, to see the strategies that were put in place by the coaches, to look at the organization of the World Cup, to look at some of the challenges that would have come out from the World Cup. So, and of course, it will have some implication for us as a smaller countries. So I think it's a matter of all of these Caribbean countries and CONCACAF coming together to brainstorm and to see whether or not we can help one another in developing the sport in terms of women football.
All right, I'd like to build on that. What do you think women's football looks like right now in Grenada, and hopefully after this conference, what do you plan to achieve?
I think we have a fantastic platform to launch forward in terms of women's football. You look at, there are many more girls playing football today than in the past. You look at the secondary school competition, which GFA is an integral part of in terms of the organization. We sponsored all the uniforms for the girls in the secondary school. There are well over 11 secondary schools playing girls football. And as I say that, congratulations again to Convent St. George's. You've been to Convent St. George's, right?
I did go to that school.
Congratulations. Two years in a straight they've won the title. And Ronisha Frank, again, I like to congratulate her for being the Women's Footballer of the Year, 2011. She was at the award ceremony last Saturday to receive her award.
What award ceremony?
That was the National Sports Award ceremony. Okay. That's by the Olympic Committee. Yeah, she got the Women's Footballer of the Year, and Clive Murray got the Male Footballer of the Year. But coming back to the point, of what we have planned for women football, we've already started the process of planning this year. We're going to have festivals, what we call women's festivals. So we go to a parish and we ask all the girls in that parish to come out to that particular venue and have a day of fun in football. The objective of this is basically to create an awareness So we get girls to like the game, and then we introduce, you know, the rudiments of the game, the basics, you know, the techniques, you know, the passing, controlling, shooting and stuff like that. But I think initially what we want is that interest, you know, for the girls to come out and play. What we have for next month, certainly, and I told the president about that, is that we must get to that stage. In fact, it's in our plan. We must get to that stage where we have an elite player development training for girls. So we're going to call out the national team, and we're going to have them training right year round. So when it comes to tournaments, we don't have to be fishing, or we don't have to be going through what we call late preparation, right? That's for the women's national team. Also for the under-17 girls, we're going to bring the best of the under-17 girls in one venue every week and train them, because we have the FIFA Women's Under-17 World Cup, we have the FIFA Women's Under-20 World Cup, and we also have the FIFA Women's World Cup, that's a senior World Cup. So there are 3 major tournaments in FIFA that we must take part in. And for we to take part and do it really the right way and successfully so too, we must initiate training programs as early as possible. So that's what we have in plan for women's football. You see, apart from the fact that we have the women's parish competition, which is sponsored by Beacon Insurance, and I'm happy to say that, you know, even at this inception, you know, companies are coming on board to support women's football. So we have the parish competition, and we also have the club competition. Later on in the year, we'll have the GFA Women's Club competition also, where we will have well over 8 or 10 clubs taking part in that competition. So apart from the fact that we have development taking place, under 17 girls, you know, training them. We go to the schools, we get the girls out, do festivals for them. They come, they eat, they drink, they have fun, they play football, they like what they experience, and then they join the program. We have competition also in 2012 for women.
So you're doing it on all levels, from beginner, just getting interest really on club level, national level, everything. And
as we say that, Aaron, I just want to make a clarion call to people outside there, because I believe women should be handling women's business when it comes to football. So I just want to make a clarion call to women outside there who you may not want to play, but you might want to be an administrator. You might want to help manage a team, or you might want to help mobilize girls, you know, in your parish or in your community. Feel free to call the GFA and express your interest. You might want to be a women's referee. You know, feel free. You know, we'll train you. We'll do what we have to do. And to keep you in the sport.
I think you're slowly convincing Chrissy to become part of this.
Right now, she should ask me for the GFA office number.
I'm thinking about the cheerleader section. But tell us about the GOAL program.
Well, you know, it's a program where FIFA says, look, you know, we're going to help you develop football in your country, whether it's administrative or technical. So they offer financial assistance to countries who, for example, who wants to build a technical center where kids can come in and train, or to a country who wants to build an administrative office, you know, things like that. So they offer financial assistance towards you, you know, developing your structure for football. We in Grenada, we've attempted to the first project, which is located at Simon in St. Andrews. It's incomplete, and our hope is that you know, in the near future we can get it to completion. It's called a technical center. There's 2 large football fields, and there's a building which is used for dormitories. Right. So after Ivan, we've had our mishap. We have our difficulties after Ivan with it. So I think efforts is on its way now to redeem that structure, to make sure that it's in good living conditions, and the fields also in good playing conditions, and hopefully soon we can have the full use of that facility, and then move on to another project, because as soon as you finish one project, you can actually apply for another project. It might be an office, because the GFA doesn't have a home on its own in terms of a physical structure. So we're hoping in the near future also we can have a place where we can call the house of the GFA. And of course, I think we're looking at a place close to the stadium. There's a piece of lot at the stadium that we are looking to negotiate for in terms of building an office, a proper structure, where we can call it the house of the GFA.
That would be good, of course, close to the football field. Of course,
because that's where all the main activity. Our office is at the stadium at present, but of course we'd like to have our own, you know, customized structure
without moving away too far, right? So of course it takes money to get everything done. So how is your sponsorship drive going?
Well, I think, you know, it's no secret that we've had our difficult times in terms of attracting sponsors. The sport has suffered a lot in the past in terms of, you know, we really producing a quality product so that it can attract sponsors you know, like this. But however, I must say that we do have sponsors. I'm happy to see when our local clubs, for example, like the Hurricane, you know, you hear about the Trade Center 100, you hear about Lime Paradise, you know. So there's a lot of sponsors on board in terms of assisting the clubs, you know, prepare for the football season. I think what we need from the GFA standpoint, administratively, is to get more sponsors. Like we have the Beacon Insurance, who is helping with women's football. We've had Heineken, you know, in our Premier League last year. So it's a matter of attracting more sponsors, and not just attracting more sponsors, but with some, you know, financial, you know.
Do you think it would become easier with the potential growth that women's football could introduce?
I think so. I think also with the advent of the revival of the parish competition, we now have a parish competition, and I looked at Facebook this morning and I see the president said it's official that it's now the GFA, the Grenada Super League. I think that also promises to lift the image of the sport in terms of attracting sponsors, because here we have a situation probably for the first time, if it comes to fruition, that our players will be paid an out-of-pocket for playing football. And you know, I'm happy, I will be very happy to be associated with that kind of venture, because even when we went to Barbados, we had a retreat in Barbados with FIFA. Part of our long-term development plan was to have professional football by 2015. And where players could actually live and play soccer here in Grenada. So that's a positive step in that direction, where this year players will be given little contracts to play in the parish league. And so that by next year or in 2 years' time, it can develop to the stage where we have a full-blown professional league like Jamaica and Trinidad in the Caribbean.
So you can make a living off of playing football.
So you can make a living off of playing football.
Fantastic.
And of course, by that time, Chrissy will see the merit.
We'll have the cheerleaders. But tell us, how has the recent FIFA scandals affected GFA?
Well, not just affected GFA, how it's affected the Caribbean as a whole, as a body, the Caribbean Football Union, how it's affected the CONCACAF region, because this is our direct link. Of course it would affect everyone. We've had a change in the guards. There's new structures been put in place. There's a new constitution being made now for the Caribbean Football Union. There's an interim, or called a normalization body, who's in charge now. Hopefully there will be elections very soon, so that we can have an executive committee in place. So it has affected us. I think more so, for me, I look more at the technical side of things. So in terms of, you know, our coaches, in terms of the players, it has affected us, because you know, we've had a lot of international relations with people that were supporting the Caribbean in terms of developing coaches and players, and that has taken a little lull. That has you know, been sedated for a while. So it has impacted negatively, but I'm looking forward to greater things, even, you know, with the changes that has taken place. You know, that, you know, Jack Wan has resigned, this and this has happened. So I'm looking for positive things. I'm always looking ahead. You know, what has gone, and you really have to look to see how we as a Caribbean people can come together and build Caribbean football, because we are the only ones responsible for taking it forward. And if we have to come together to do it, let's do it.
All right, so, well, talking about who's resigning, and a basic question, why does it seem that there's so much politics in football? What's the cause of that?
And if you read FIFA, you would understand that we're not supposed to get politics involved in football. In fact, I must tell you that once politics steps in, well, there's two politics. There's the politics, and there's the politics in the football.
Tell us about both. Tell us about both. I'm sure you can.
Well, the first politics is that it's not supposed to interfere with the football. That's why FIFA comes out and ban countries after governments and so forth try to intervene and try to run the business of football in their country. FIFA says no. There's an association involved. We are the head of that association, and we channel our efforts through that association and not through the government.
Right.
Of course, the government can assist, but not to take control. So that's the first politics that.
So
that is not
don't know that.
supposed to
FIFA
interfere.
controls it. Yes. Right,
Yeah.
so
The other
politics
is I can't speak too much about it. You know, in everything, Aaron and Chrissy, you will find, you know, politics involved. You know, You know, sometimes even on a little secular environment, you know, you might say, like politics, I mean touching that. You know, boss say something, and all of a sudden, because of what boss say, you get a little edgy and say, boy, that look as politics. Like politics on the job. You understand? So just like in football, you might have a little politics in the football. People favor people, you know. You might favor this person in over this person in terms of the job at hand or the task at hand. And one person might say, well, that's politics. Another one, they might say, job for the boys, or, you know. But it happens. But I think, you know, you will always find that, right? What is important is how you step above that and look at the holistic picture, the sport, the football, moving forward, women's football, referees, medical personnel, you know, administrators, you know, getting professional people involved and moving the sport forward. But you'll always find politics. And here in Grenada, there's no exception.
Right.
You know, there's no exception. Okay. You'll find wherever you go, you know.
Right. Yeah. So we touched on a little bit of everything. Tell us about the national team. What plans there for 2012?
Well, to speak first about the national team, I must say, and you know, people look at our football, Aaron and Chrissy, and say, you know, oh, football is not going anywhere. They make negative comments, you know. And when you compare our football to across the region, we're right there. I mean, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be desired for, yes. But we're doing a lot. And we're at a stage where we can compare our football with the football giants of the Caribbean, the Trinidad and the Jamaica. What we don't have is a professional league, which they do have. We've been to the Gold Cup on 2 consecutive occasions. You're talking about 35 countries in the CONCACAF region, and Grenada out to make up 8 teams. We're in that 8 out of 35,
right.
and that says a lot for a country, you know, with such limited resources. Our football, we've had players playing. Well, you know, we have the Jason Roberts, you know, playing for Blackburn. We've had Anthony Bones with an impressive stint in Jamaica, getting Footballer of the Year in Jamaica. So we've had quality players outside it, the Ricky Curry Charles, the Patrick Bones. We've just sent a guy, Clive Murray, right, to Thailand to play professional football. Hopefully, he can move on from there, because I mean Thailand is not really recognized much for football. But hopefully he can use that as a stepping stone and move to greater things. Hopefully might see him in the English Premier League or First Division or Second Division, you know, and that's our intention. We are now holding talks with Craig Rocastle, who plays for Kansas City Wizards in the MLS, and his agent is looking for players, and they're looking for young players. So there is a move now to see whether or not Maureen Phillip and Shannon Phillip can also get outside it.
We haven't had any Grenadians up in MLS.
In MLS. Well, we had Shalvi Joseph, but who was based in America, but not living here and going to play there. Kitson Bain went to England to play for Tranmere Rovers, who was a naturally born talent here. So that again would have provided an inspiration and an impetus for our local boys here to train and see what they can get into the international market. But our football is moving, you know, it's moving, and whether, you know, it's not instant coffee. You know, you don't get up in the morning and be a star. You know, you have to work at it, you have to work. And that's what we're doing, working at it. We will make mistakes, we pick up ourselves from there and move forward. I think what is important is, you know, how we manage our resources efficiently to get the best out of what we're looking for. And that's it. But our national team will always be a formidable force. It will always be something that our supporters, including you and I and Chrissy, will always yearn to see play, come out to the stadium. And I think what we have to do now is to get that general public, get that sensation back, get that, you know, enthusiasm back inside of our football, so that we get large crowds coming out to support our national team. We saw the crowds at Wagati. I mean, we know that the football now is taking a little different direction in terms of sportainment, because you can't have a football match if you don't have a Benny Man or something like that. But nonetheless, we at the Football Association want to stay focused on the fact that we need to develop players. We need to get into our grassroots grassroots structure. Our grassroots program this year is going to be dynamic, right? Where we're going to go all across the country, all into the remote villages again, and introduce football to them. We've been to Moncton, Boucherville, a number of places last year, and it's interesting to see how these kids come out barefooted, whatever it is it takes for them to come out on these fields on a Saturday morning and enjoy the sport. And that's what we're into this year again with our grassroots program. We're going to be going to places like Cloget, Cloget in St. John's, all these remote villages. Once there is a small field there, we're going to come over there, roll the balls out, get the coaches involved, get the kids involved, and hopefully we'll get some future stars in the future. The Cristiano Ronaldo, the Wayne Rooney, some of that.
So got some young Jason Roberts.
Yeah, some young Jason Roberts and so forth.
All right, so big plans, big things to say. One last question. When is the next game? When is the big next game?
Well, we don't have a major competition soon, but, countries always invite our national team to play friendly matches. So we'll be looking to play a couple of friendly matches.
Right.
But our focus initially this year is to develop our structures, our grassroots structure, women's football, and see where it goes.
All right. Yeah. Good stuff. All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Smith, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
No problem, Christine.
All right.
And I'll see you at the next training.
Cheerleading, come on, stay with me.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show. Yes, folks. All right, that was Grenada Football Association, Lester Smith, sharing with us what their big plans are for this year. Women's football, lots of children, grassroots, everything happening there. So we look out for the GFA and Grenada football in general.